Hey everyone, welcome to another casual vlog day. Today's video is sponsored by Natural Cycles. And the other week I did a little Q&A that was requested by everyone, focusing on your questions related to IVF and infertility. And today I wanted to do another Q&A, but focus more on your questions related to pregnancy and also this particular pregnancy and baby. Now, before we get too far into things, I of course want to give my general disclosure that the information you're about to see and hear is of course for education and entertainment purposes only and should never replace individualized medical advice. So always speak to your healthcare provider about your unique case. I also want to tell you about this awesome app called Natural Cycles because a lot of you had asked me, how do you conceive? Like, how do you get pregnant? Assuming, of course, that you have a normal natural cycle. So I was told about this amazing app called Natural Cycles that offers both monthly or annual subscription options. And basically it can be used either as birth control or to help you plan a pregnancy. So Natural Cycles works by analyzing your basal body temperature, which is your body's lowest resting temperature that can be indicated first thing in the morning using a basal thermometer. So due to the rise in basal body temperature right after ovulation, the app's algorithm can tell you what your fertile window is and can also tell you when you're at peak fertility. So fertile days are really shown on a color scale, with the deeper the red, meaning you're more fertile those days, and green days indicating that you are not fertile. The more data that you can give the Natural Cycles app, the better that the fertility app really gets to know you. So you want to aim for at least 5 days of consistent data. That would be ideal. Then, if your temperature stays high rather than dipping down as it would right before you get your period, the app can tell you when the best time is to take a pregnancy test. And then when you do get pregnant, which is so exciting, the app can be switched to a follow a pregnancy mode, which will help you track all the different fun stages of fetal development. And then after all that, if you want to avoid getting pregnant again, you can switch to the prevent mode, and the app will tell you when your fertile days are, so that will help you avoid an unwanted pregnancy. In fact, it actually is in the same effectiveness category as the birth control pill, with a typical use effectiveness rate of 93% and a perfect use effectiveness rate of 98%. Keep in mind that you must be 18 years old or older to use the app, and it does not protect against STIs. But if I had a regular cycle and I was trying to conceive naturally, or not conceive, I guess, I would definitely try this out. So if you are interested, check out the 20% off link that includes a free thermometer in the description below. Okay, friends, now let's get to the questions. The first question I have is this your last pregnancy and baby? Okay, so I'm not sure if you can ever close a future door when the one that you're standing in hasn't even closed yet. But I will say when I started the IVF process, I had 12 great embryos or blastocysts that were frozen. And I was thinking at the time 3. That's what I had told my doctor, that she wrote it in my chart. Desired family size was 3 babies. And I love motherhood, and that's probably why I was more. I have them, they're waiting for me, so let's just have more. But I will say that this past year has been so physically and emotionally exhausting for me that I've kind of reconsidered, at least in how I'm feeling right now. And I have to also consider that I kind of already have a baby. I have my business baby, and that's a big baby that has a lot of needs that I have to tend to, let's just say. And my husband also is an entrepreneur, so he also has a baby. So we've got our own respective business babies. We've got 2 babies, human babies. We will have 2 human babies. We have a fur baby. It's a lot. And I don't want to do anything that I feel like I can't do 100%, and that's just how I feel. So right now I feel satisfied that I'm probably done after 2, but who knows, I might go through this pregnancy and birth, and I loved birth so much that I remember when I gave birth I was let's do it again, can we do it again tomorrow? So who knows, I may change my mind after I get through those first few terrible months. And yeah, we'll reevaluate when we get there. But right now I'm thinking I'm good. Okay, are you having a girl or a boy? I don't folks, you guys tell me. If you have predictions, leave them below because we are not finding out. And we didn't find out with my son either, which I know most people think I'm crazy for because like, how do you not want to know? And I do want to know. Like, I'm so curious, of course. It kind of kills me. But we didn't find out with my son, and it was like legit one of the best surprises of my life. I was shocked. My husband and I both were 100% convinced with my son that we were having a girl. Like, we didn't even pick a boy name. So we were like, yeah, it's a girl. Like, I just felt it. I dreamt it. In my mind, I kept saying she and her. It wasn't that I necessarily wanted a girl. It was just, that's what I thought. So I guess my instinct really sucks. But regardless, my mom always says, you know, the sex of your baby is the only surprise you're gonna get in life other than when you're gonna die. And that's definitely true, especially for IVF. Like, everything is so calculated. You know everything. You know, like, the second you implant, basically. Whereas, you know, a natural conception, at least you have a few more surprises and excitements along the way. So for me, this was the only surprise we were going to get. I also really do not like super girly or boyish things. So, I mean, even my son's clothes now are pretty neutral, but I just try not to make a lot of gendered assumptions. So I'm kind of trying to stick with that theme here. What do you think you're having? I hope I'm having a baby, not like, I don't know, like a dog or an alien or a dinosaur. Though my son would like love it if I was having a baby dinosaur. That he would be so excited about. Not a boy, not a girl. He wants a dinosaur. But I don't know. I think everyone has all these like funny ways to predict baby sex, like how you're carrying or how bad your skin was or how, you know, how sick you were. I don't know if I really buy into any of that. If you really wanted to press me for what my instinct says, I would say probably another boy, but I don't know if that's because just that's what I know now. And so when I'm saying like I'm always saying he or male pronouns all the time, simply because I'm always doing that with my son. So I don't know if that's why my instinct is to call it a he or him or whatever. But I don't know. I just also feel like a boy mom. Like, in my heart, I just feel like that is who I am. And I will be thrilled with another boy. I love being a boy mom. I love my son. He is so funny and fun, and as a high energy person, I think we just really jive well together. I can't wait to see him grow up. So I would be thrilled to have 2 little boys as brothers. Also, so excited to have a little daughter as well, because I mean, who doesn't want to dress up a little daughter? Though I will say I'm legit terrified of having a daughter, mainly because of the teenage years and what I probably put my mother through. So yeah, it comes with a lot more anxiety, but some more cute clothing options for sure if it is a girl. So I'm so excited for either option. Let's just have a healthy, happy baby. Okay, do you have names picked out? I have names picked out. My husband hasn't heard them yet, but thank you guys all for sending your name suggestions, especially the boy names, because you know they are so much harder for me. I feel good about my girl name choice. I just have to hope that my husband also feels good about it, though we don't have the best track record for agreeing on names. In fact, we didn't even have a boy name that we agreed upon until, well, after I gave birth. I literally just told my husband that I was writing his name down on the birth certificate because, hey, I just pushed him out of my body. So I think women get a little bit more wiggle room, a few more votes on the names, in my opinion. But I don't know, argue with me if you want in the comments on that. So yeah, please keep the name suggestions coming. Like I said, I like unusual names, but not too like hipster. Whereas like, you know, we see these like lists of like unusual names and those are too common for me now, too unusual common. I want like old names that are kind of, I'm gonna bring back, or kind of made up names because they're places or they're things or objects or whatever. That's where my thinking is going, without it getting like too weird. But give me your ideas. I love them. Next question. Do you have any cravings or food aversions? I'm like so super boring, but I don't have any like crazy cravings. Like I have not sent my husband out to get McDonald's in the middle of the night, and also like a Frosty for like dipping the fries in the Frosty. None of that stuff. Like, and I didn't with my son either. I will say that aversions, yes. They were probably, I don't know if they were worse with my son. I remember not being able to eat any chicken at all with my son, or fish. Just the smell of fish, the whole pregnancy turned me off. And it like took months before I could eat a chicken breast again after giving birth. I will say like raw vegetables in the first trimester were a hard no for me. I remember like eating a salad or ordering a Greek salad at like 10 weeks pregnant or something, and then just like eating the feta cheese off the top. And I was like, that was a waste of money. I could have just had a block of cheese. So now that I'm further along and I'm kind of like past that, I'm feeling good, I can eat vegetables again, and it is so exciting. I guess if there's anything I'm craving, it's like really juicy, water-rich things. So like vegetables and fruit, like acidic fruits like pineapple. Oh, when I was in Florida, I ate a ton of watermelon, and that was so exciting. I eat a lot of clementine. So a lot of those kind of like tangy acidic foods are really feeling good for me right now. But I love hearing about people's cravings. So leave me comments below if there was something funny and weird that you were craving. I can't really think of anything for myself. I wish I did. Because it's just something fun to remember as part of your pregnancy. But nope, I'm boring. I love vegetables and fruit and other dietitian-y things. So who knows? Okay, do you have any other ideas for morning sickness? So great question. Lots of ginger chews. Anything kind of tangy, like I said, acidic things tend to help. Lemon ginger tea was a lifesaver for me. I drank a lot of that, and I just brewed it myself. So I literally just like steeped ginger in water and then added lots of lemon juice, and I love that. And if you can add a little honey if that's too acidic for you, but I just liked the tang. And so the other thing I would say is just like kind of small energy dense meals and snacks. So I really try to focus on not these like big voluminous meals. So like where I might have a salad normally, the salad would just be like too much for me. I couldn't like get through it. So I really focused on adding more fats to my meals just to add more calories in there. So like nut butter, like cooking with a little bit more fat, avocado, sprinkling hemp hearts or chia seeds or flax on basically everything. These little nutritional boosters do add up throughout the day without making you feel overly full or uncomfortable. As for carbs, I had no guilt about eating like mainly carbs in the first trimester. I just tried whenever possible to choose kind of like a slow digesting carb or a carb that had a little bit of protein in it or paired with some protein. So for example, like whole grain bread with maybe some fat or protein, some like nut butter or some avocado, or like the avocado toast that I showed you in my video, which I'll link to below. I also did like oatmeal with lots of hemp hearts or nut butter swirled in. Loved that. I had like oatmeal for breakfast and lunch and dinner some days. No guilt, no shame. What else? Oh, bean-based pasta is amazing. I use it in a lot of my recipes, and I love it for my kid as well, because you know, picky toddlers and morning sick pregnant ladies are not that different when it comes to their diet. So bean-based pasta is great because at least if like I just felt so sick that all I could eat was like plain dry, cooked, but like no sauce pasta, at least I was getting a little bit more protein in that. So that was another great option. But bottom line, I would say smaller, energy dense meals, and ideally ones without any kind of strong scent or odor. Like fishy things were a hard pass for me. Next question, is it as scary as it seems from the outside? I'm not really sure if that question was referring to pregnancy in general or like infertility and IVF, but let's keep it to pregnancy and say, I mean, sure, like there are scary aspects of pregnancy, especially in that first trimester. I can't tell you how nerve-wracking every day is. Like as somebody who's gone through a lot of infertility and gone through a lot to actually get here, to get pregnant, to get that positive pregnancy test, yeah, like every day, especially in that first trimester, I would go to the washroom and check for blood, and any little feeling, like any little cramp I would feel, I would, in my mind, think the worst, that I was having a miscarriage, and I'd like kind of go through this grieving process even before I knew what was going on. So the first trimester is really scary, but I'm through it, and that doesn't mean that I'm completely in the clear. You're never in the clear. You're always going to worry. But I will say I feel a lot more calm now, having gone past that real kind of danger zone. As for, you know, the later stages of pregnancy, like actual labor, I will say in my first pregnancy, I was terrified of labor, like most women. I mean, we're all scared of the pain and the unexpected, and things can go wrong. There's just, it's scary. But having gone through it, I feel a lot more calm about the entire experience, both like labor and delivery and postpartum and what to expect. But I will say that the thing I was most scared of in my first pregnancy was pushing in labor. I was just so scared. Everyone talks about how painful it is, the ring of fire, and just like I was scared of tearing my vagina. Like, it was scary stuff. But I will say that pushing, that hour I was pushing, was literally the best hour of my life. It was so exciting. I had a room full of people cheering me on. I felt like a rock star. I felt like I was I was like an athlete, and the whole stadium was just like, go Abby, go, you're doing amazing. Like, it was so invigorating. And I know there's a lot of like endorphins that are also happening to help you deal with that kind of pain and deal with that, the adrenaline of trying to push that baby out. It's a lot of physical effort. But I will say it was so incredible. Do not be scared of labor. I mean, the epidural helped. That's for sure. So I'm not sure I'd be so enthusiastic about the pushing phase had I not had an epidural, but that's what worked for me, and I loved it, and I am actually genuinely excited to do it again. All right, next question. What prenatal vitamin do you recommend? I mean, there's lots of great brands out there, so choose something that's within budget for you. But I do always recommend something with methylfolate or methylated folate rather than just simple folate, because methylated folate is the active form of folate. And so I like Ritual's prenatal vitamin that has methylfolate in it, and also Mega Foods Baby and Me Too. That's what I'm using right now. But yeah, lots of great brands out there. Choose a brand that works for your budget, but also ideally that has the methylfolate. When did you start taking your prenatal vitamin? So I guess for me, I just like didn't really ever stop. You know, I remember, and I've said this many times, that my university professor in nutrition school said, you know, if you're childbearing age, you should be taking a prenatal vitamin because mistakes can happen. And it's really important to be getting that extra folate in for those early weeks of pregnancy, often before women even know that they're pregnant. So I was taking it, I don't know, I think I probably started before I was like married and thinking about having kids. And then I took it all throughout IVF, took it through pregnancy, took it through breastfeeding, because it also can really help with breastfeeding. Your nutritional needs are a lot higher in breastfeeding than when you're not breastfeeding. So that was important. And then I went straight from breastfeeding right back into IVF and preparing for pregnancy, and then into pregnancy. So I'm probably just going to stay on it for I don't know, maybe forever. I don't know. Depends. I know it's a little bit more expensive than a normal multivitamin, but you never know, like maybe a miracle accident will happen, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. Okay, have you gained more weight in this pregnancy than you did in your first? I don't know, probably. I'm going to go see the doctor today and he'll weigh me, and I really don't weigh myself. But I also have been on a lot more drugs and hormones than I was in my first pregnancy, including prednisone, which was not very kind to me, that's for sure. I'm also older, like I'm 2.5 years older, and just like more tired and less fit than I was, having like kind of just gotten married and was like young and fresh and energetic, and those were the days. But yeah, I actually didn't gain that much weight in my first pregnancy. I think I only gained like 18 to 20 pounds, which is less than the recommended. And I was like actively trying to gain weight by the end there, like really trying to catch up. But my son was 7'7", which is a perfectly average weight. So I feel like your body's just gonna do what it's gonna do, and you know, you don't need to force feed yourself, but just listen to your body when it comes to your nutritional needs and your hunger needs, which will increase, especially with breastfeeding. I was starving, like legit starving. We'll do a whole other video on breastfeeding. If you're interested in that, leave me comments below and I will tell you everything I know about pumping and breastfeeding. But yeah, I just truly believe that if you're listening to your body and you're eating in response to those hunger cues and those enhanced hunger cues, that your body will gain the weight that it needs to gain. Okay, how do you feel about your weight gain and your changing body during pregnancy? This is a really great question, and you know, something that I think a lot of people don't talk about because it's kind of taboo, especially in the infertility world where, you know, you've worked so hard to get pregnant. How can anything else matter? How could you dare even have a negative thought about something as trivial as your weight gain? But I'll be honest, like it's always a little unnerving when your clothes don't fit, even if obviously in pregnancy you're meant to gain weight. And I know I talk all the time about body positivity, but I will say body positivity is not necessarily looking at your body every single day and thinking that it is like rock star, super sexy all the time. To me, it's really about respecting your body and honoring your body's needs, which is something, of course, I will continue to do and have been continuing to do, despite the fact that, like, hey, sometimes I just feel kind of bloated and bigger. Like, there's a long period in pregnancy where you don't really look super pregnant. You just look bigger. Your clothes don't fit, but you don't have that cute basketball bump that you can show off. You just feel and look not like yourself. And that can be kind of uncomfortable. I've also found that in my second pregnancy, this is very common, a lot of my friends say this, but I showed a lot faster and a lot bigger than I did in my first pregnancy. And like everyone has mentioned that to me, like about me. So side note, folks, never comment on a woman's body, period. But even in pregnancy does not give you the right to comment on or touch a woman's body without asking. You know, do I need to do a whole video on this? Because I could go off on this. So leave me a comment below if you want to see me rant on all the things you should never say or do to a pregnant woman when it comes to her body. I will go off. But anyways, sometimes hearing these remarks, even though I consider myself a pretty confident person and I feel quite comfortable in my own skin and in my own body, even when it is changing, it's sometimes really hard to hear that from people. But anytime that I have a negative thought, if I look in the mirror, I just say to myself, wow, Abby, think about how amazing your body is for doing everything that it's doing right now. And I also tell myself, you know, my body is so smart. It will find its healthy, happy place again when it's ready. And sometimes I also then ask myself, if I am having these negative thoughts, how terrible would it be if my body just stayed this size and shape forever? And when I actually ask myself that question rationally, I realize not terrible at all. Like, I'm still healthy, I'm still happy. That is all that ultimately matters to me. So what? Like, having bigger love handles is not going to define who I am. All of this is just another phase, and I'm going to try to take this one step at a time. So on that note, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A. If you have other questions for me, whether it's related to pregnancy, we could do a video on breastfeeding and pumping if you're interested, because I have lots to say about that, my friends. I had quite the struggle in my first pregnancy. I did a video on that here. But yeah, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you if you like these kinds of easy Q&A style videos. Also, don't forget to check out my merch line. I'm leaving a link below. The sweaters are back in stock, so I'm really excited to share that with you guys, so don't forget about that. Also, big thank you to Natural Cycles for sponsoring this video. If you like it, Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye!